Welcome to the Big Play Cleveland Show. I'm Gabriella Cruz alongside Chris McNeil, Nick Padone. We've got a lot of good vibes in studio today and more to come as the Cavs stay hot. And we've got Froggy coming in.
I'm excited for this one. This will be good.
Yeah, Cavs Victory Frog joining us in studio. Yeah. Katie Moon joining us as well. We've got a packed show for you guys today. It's going to be a fun one.
Stipe also announcing his retirement from the UFC. What do you say? Most decorated heavyweight?
Most decorated heavyweight. That came from Forbes as well. You know, just a phenomenal career, a phenomenal ambassador for the city of Cleveland. He's going to be a UFC Hall of Famer. Of course, it kind of stinks to see him go out kind of sad his last two fights, not going the way that he wanted them to, but that's a guy, and we know and we embrace here, you know, the hard work to go up against the best. I mean, he went up against John Jones, who's still kind of in his prime, the greatest heavyweight probably ever, the greatest pound for pound fighter the UFC has ever seen ever. Stipe's in his 40s, and he's like, sure, I'll fight this guy. So it just speaks to the legacy that is Stipe Miocic, and happy retirement, because I know he's given all of us some pretty fun moments in the UFC.
Yeah, great Clevelander, great fight there. It was good to see him back out there. Happy retirement to him. We had another fight this weekend too. Mr. Jake Paul going up against Mike Tyson.
Is that what we can call it? Can we even call it that? Yeah.
Yeah. Another Clevelander, Jake Paul.
A beautiful orchestration.
Yeah.
Two guys were fighting.
A nice promotion.
Dancing around a little bit. And, you know, there was a lot of bravado around it, as you normally get around boxing fights. And, you know, it was a made-for-TV event. Although Netflix was falling down regularly, at least on my buffering stream,
Same.
and I know for a lot of people around the country. But ultimately, it was kind of what we expected, I think, going in. And I don't know, Nick, are they going to do this again?
I mean, here's the thing. People are outraged that a 58-year-old man and a YouTuber put on a bad display of boxing.
Yeah,
what
on.
did people
Give
really
us
expect?
something.
You know, I'm a fan of Jake Paul for the reason of the greatest marketer of this generation. Seriously. Is from Westlake, Ohio. This dude is an absolute genius. 65 million people tuned into this fight. More people tuned into the live stream on Antonio Brown's Twitter than tuned into the NBA Finals last year.
That's incredible.
So more people watched Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson via Antonio Brown's Twitter live stream than watched the NBA Finals. And it just speaks to the volumes of the promotion and the hard work that they did to sell this thing. Was it the best fight? No. But it was an expert display of marketing, and for that, I'm a fan.
Yeah, he's been crushing it. Him and his brother both, and I think that is their claim to fame here in Cleveland. Whether you love them or hate them, you got to respect their game. Now, really quick, do you guys think that Tyson was holding back, or do you think he is genuinely
I think
old?
Jake was holding back.
I agree.
I think Jake could have hurt him there at the end, and I was glad to see that cooler heads and common logic prevailed and that he was in there with a 58-year-old. There was no reason to add a knockout to his highlight reel against Mike Tyson. I think Jake really did take it easy on him.
I was really hoping maybe Iron Mike could get that one shot in, though. You saw his legs. He was kind of wobbly in there the whole 9 yards, but you thought maybe Iron Mike's got that one shot in him, hit him across the bow. Jake goes down, but it never happened. It really didn't come close to happening. First couple of rounds, I thought, okay, we may have something here, but as that thing went on, it was like, just get us to the end of this thing.
I guess I was sort of deceived by the fact that there were videos floating around before the competition, and Mike looked pretty good. Like, he looked like, I thought he would really land.
In a 15-second video, you could probably make anybody look pretty good.
He just looked like he was moving better, is all. So I thought maybe he'd pop Jake a good one a couple of times. But, yeah, we wouldn't want to see Jake respond. Not to our...
You didn't want to see Iron Mike go down. I was shocked through that whole thing just how positive the crowd was for Iron Mike. I mean, everybody was on his side. Nobody was there for Jake Paul. There's a lot of booing there when he came into the arena. So Iron Mike, they didn't exactly give the country what we were looking for, but it was kind of what we expected.
Other positive news in Cleveland, friend of show Stephen Kwan getting engaged to his girlfriend.
Congratulations.
We're excited for him and Sam. Congrats to them. And more guard stuff. We've got Jose Ramirez and Emmanuel Clase, both named first team all MLB. So we'll get into it. Thanks for watching the Big Play Cleveland Show. We've got to take a short break, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Welcome on back into the Big Play Cleveland show. We've got a very special guest, arguably the most famous guest we've ever had in studio. First, I got to tell you about my friends over at Northeast Factory Direct. Guys, they have the best quality products at an unbelievable price, and they have your whole house covered. Kitchen cabinets, bedroom sets, dining room tables, hot tubs, sofas, so much more. You could shop online anytime by going to northeastfactorydirect.com, but you got to check them out in store. Cleveland, Euclid, Macedonia, North Canton. If you're looking for an even better deal, check out their outlet center in Euclid or Canton. Make sure to ask about that special Big Play bonus. They're going to give you a very nice hookup there. All right, it's time to bring in the most famous guest that we've ever had inside of the Big Play studio at Burke Lakefront Airport. Joining us now are our friends at Cleveland Vibes and the Cavs Victory Frog, Froggy, joining us on the Big Play Cleveland show. Thank you guys so much for stopping in studio.
Thank you for having us.
For sure. We got to ask the question first that everybody wants to know. How did the Cavs Frog come to be? Where did she come from? Yeah. Tell us all the things that we need to know about Froggy.
She's fresh to Cleveland. She's from a land far, far away. She heard that the vibes were immaculate in Cleveland, and she decided that this was her new home. She wanted to dance. She wanted to make some friends, and now she found the Cavs. She saw that this team was looking so promising and set her sights on Cleveland.
I love that it's a she, too, because, you know, a lot of mascots, I feel like they're predominantly male, but we've got a she in town, and she's the business.
Oh, she's waving. We got a wave out of her. That's awesome. Yeah.
She's a little shy, obviously. She's not used to being out, you know, when it's not a Cavs game, right after a Cavs game, so this is a big deal for her.
We also want to know if she's sticking around. I mean, we're trying to obviously go 82-0, but even if this streak maybe doesn't come to fruition, the reality is we want her to stick around, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think she'll be shocked if we don't go undefeated the entire season. But if that were to happen, she's not a fair weather fan, you know. I could see that she would definitely want to support the Cavs and any wins and losses through it all, I think.
So
she'll be here to stay.
Does she have a favorite Cavalier?
Man, Froggy? She likes them all.
Yeah, she's kind of like,
She loves them
nah.
all. I know that she
Everyone.
really does appreciate all the support she's gotten from Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen and DG. I mean, these are all they've danced with Moondog dressed up as her. That meant the world to her. So she's really feeling the love from
She's honing a signature dance, by the way. And we're going to try to get more people hip to it. I was learning a little bit. Yes. We'll have to overlay some video probably. But you got to put the hands behind the back, and you kind of do like a little skip move to the side.
Soldier Boy backwards,
Soldier
I think
Boy
we were
backwards,
calling it.
Yeah, I just realized it's a similar movement, but the reverse. And
yeah.
I think it should be anytime we win. That's just the dancer. You got a little clap to it, too.
Oh, yeah, the clap tap.
A little foot tap.
How did she come up with these dance moves?
I think she was just born a dancer. I think it was just what she was born to do.
She looks like it. She had, this was in her future all along.
Froggy, a lot of people want to know, do you have any interest in helping the Browns? And can you kick a field goal from 27 yards?
And spread the luck? Cavs win.
Cavs win. That's
it. We can only promise that the Cavs win.
The Browns are on their own.
The Cavs Frog is kind of like Groot. There's two words. Cavs win, and that's it.
Cavs win. It's a little risky to go anywhere else with this beautiful magic that we already have. Thank you for gracing our studio with your leaping presence. We're super excited to keep this streak going.
Thanks for having us.
Any parting words for the Cleveland Cavaliers?
To keep it up, guys. Man, what a season. It's fun watching them play. So we're happy to try to bring some more energy from the fans. I think everyone's so thrilled to see what they're doing, but they're the real magic. I mean, they're doing great. We can just keep going with their skills. They've got a great season ahead of them.
Spreading good vibes. And you guys are just like hanging out after the games, right? Like outside the stadium, dancing around. It feels like the crowds that surround Froggy are getting bigger and bigger with each win. People are now looking for Froggy.
Mm-hmm. She's famous here. She is. She's frog famous.
It's kind of a big deal.
Have any sponsors come out?
Frog and crazy.
Yet?
No
Not
sponsors
yet.
yet. No
So
sponsors yet.
We're gonna have
Froggy's
the,
still looking
the
for
jersey
sponsors.
patch on the,
Yes.
on the frog.
Yeah.
Gonna look like a NASCAR driver by the time we get to the
Before
playoffs.
you know
Nick.
it, Cliffs
awesome.
Cleveland is gonna be calling.
That's
they're
right.
Gonna, they're gonna be on the frog.
The Dons, the new Dons are green and yellow.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Froggy needs some new shoes.
Froggy
Probably need some new shoes.
She needs some new dancing shoes.
Froggy, how cool would it be to meet Donovan Mitchell? I feel like he should gift you a pair of those shoes.
Would that be a dream come true?
Oh.
That's what we
Award
need
Froggy
next
a pair
is-
of those shoes.
Yeah.
In
All right,
person.
we're gonna
That's gotta
manifest that
happen.
for you
Keep the
guys.
vibes going.
We
Yes.
gotta get Froggy a pair of these shoes to keep the vibes
I know
going.
they're hard to
she
come
can't
by.
She can't sit still over there.
So the excitement is radiating. Cleveland vibes, Froggy. Thank you for bringing all of this positive energy to the city. It's no surprise, okay? This is just another illustration of our entire fan base being just so excited about this team, and we thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for having us.
Go Cavs!
Go Cavs. Cavs win.
Woo!
Thanks, Froggy.
Thank you.
More of the Big Play Cleveland show right after this.
Welcome back to the Big Play Cleveland show. It's time to chat a little track and field with one of our own, friend of show. We're joined by Katie Moon. For those of you who don't remember, two-time world champion. She's also locked away a gold medal and most recently an Olympic gold medal and Olympic silver medal at this most recent Olympics. It's always so great to hear from you and see how you're keeping up the good grind. How has the preseason been treating you?
Hello. It's been awful, but that's exactly what you can expect from preseason. So it's going according to plan. It just sucks. So
It's funny how much work goes into track and even pole vaulting because you don't realize that there is some running involved here, and people don't put that together, that a lot of your workouts include more than one lap, sis.
Not often. Usually, like once I'm in season, the longest sprinting I'll do is like 150 meters. But during the preseason, we're doing a 100, 200 circuit where it's just like repeating those over and over again with strength exercises in between, or 90-second runs. I know I talked about this on my Instagram story, but you're just running 90 seconds as far as you could get 5 times in a row. And for the first two, I'm trying to get to 400, and one lap for 1 or 2 times is not bad, but when you get to 3, 4, and 5, and you have burpees and donkey kicks, and it's pretty miserable, but it's worth it. It makes it all worth it, but ugh.
Is most of that training on your own, or do you have partners?
No, now I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, so I am completely on my own. My husband sometimes joins me for the really hard ones. He's actually pretty good at distance running, so he can pace me, which is nice. But yeah, I was in Atlanta. I was working with my coach there, and then my husband is the rowing coach at University of Tulsa. So
Oh, awesome.
he's been here since 2022, and I had been splitting my time back and forth. And after this Olympics, I moved here full time.
Katie, we obviously got to talk a little bit about the Olympics. We haven't had an opportunity to chat with you since. Obviously, one, welcome back and congratulations. It was an awesome showing, but how cool was that experience really from the jump? Like, because obviously you guys were on the boat. You took the picture with LeBron when he did like carried the flag on the way over.
It was
How
incredible.
cool was that
Iconic,
entire experience, start to finish? Because it was cool following your journey along with you that entire week.
It was unbelievable. Coming off of Tokyo, it was very special, but did not feel like what I thought the Olympics would feel like. And I'm sure that was because of COVID. It just didn't have the same hype. Obviously, there was no one in the stands. And I just chalked it up to, okay, well, maybe I just set my expectations too high. Like, it's still just another meet. It's the same girls I'm competing with. Like, it's special, it's different, but this was the Olympics and everything I thought it would be and more, just from beginning to end. And so, yeah, the boat was incredible. It was so cool as, we're floating by and there are just droves of people just standing along the river cheering for us. And when the tower lit up, right as we get to it, I just started crying because if you know anything about me, the Eiffel Tower sparkling at night is one of my favorite things of all time. And so to have that happen on the boat as I've made the Olympic team is just, oh, it's so cool. And then it ended up going well. So it really was a pretty great experience.
One of the things I always wonder watching all the festivities that are around the Olympics is for you as athletes, you have the opening ceremonies, you have the closing ceremonies. There's a lot that goes on around the Olympics. How do you manage being a part of those things and really taking it in while still focusing on, hey, I got a job to do while I'm out here?
Yeah, it's a fine line because we were sent emails, hey, this sport, we have this many tickets for them if you want to go. And I was offered a couple different opportunities, but I really and maybe it's just experience and, at my age, I don't know, but I knew you have to still stay grounded and not make this bigger than what it is. It's still a competition. You're still here to do a job. And so what was nice is we were competing far enough after the opening ceremonies that it still made sense to go to that and enjoy it and experience it. And then I still had time to come down off of it because it's a lot. I see why people skip it. And so it's easy to get wrapped up in things and obviously let yourself enjoy it. But a part of, my job is knowing what to do in the lead up to a major event and how to, compete my best. So
You look good doing it because you have all those fits, the cool Nike fits. I'm just looking at the baby blue, which is cool. It reminds me of our undefeated Cavs and the City Edition unis that just came out. And I know you were posting about the different uniforms. You also let everybody know, hey, I know some of them look a little funny, but they wear quite fine. The buns, we're used to that. We're athletes, okay? It's very aerodynamic feeling. How many fits does Nike provide you with, though? Because I was looking at your stories through the Olympics. I'm like, she's got an outfit. I don't even know if she'll get through all of these in her time there.
I did not get through all of them because we have so basically you show up, and what I didn't realize my first Olympics is that they give you a huge duffel bag on wheels suitcase full of clothing and things to wear. And then Ralph Lauren also gives you a giant duffel on wheels to wear. So I didn't need to bring anything the first time around. The second time around, I'd been in Europe for a few weeks before. So I did have luggage, which was a little bit of a challenge trying to get, I think, 4 suitcases back, plus poles. So not a bad problem to have by any means, but yeah, it's super cool. It just makes you feel really appreciated. And then we get the Skims and we get all the different collaborations, the Samsung, it's so fun. But it's nice because as a Nike sponsored athlete, I can continue to wear these things afterwards, which is really nice because a lot of athletes can, only wear it there. And then, they'd probably get in trouble if they wore some of the Nike stuff after. But yeah, we were taken care of. That's for sure.
Katie, I feel like a lot of people would be jealous of that. That would be jealous of the 2 championships and then the Olympic gold medals on top of it. I want to talk about the photo with LeBron that you put out there that kind of went viral. Obviously, 2 kids from Cleveland. How cool was that for you to be a part of? And I know you're such a big Cleveland sports fan, and being from here is such a big piece of you. How cool was just that moment? Because for me, that's probably the most jealous that I am of you.
I was shaking for like the next 5 minutes. I felt kind of bad because, the basketball players just get bombarded. It's like they literally could not stay in the village. Everyone is coming up to them, hounding them, asking them to take pictures. So part of me didn't want to be that person, but the other part of me was like, I don't know if I'll get this chance again. And I have to try. So I went up. It was super brief. And I went up and I just said, hey, LeBron, I'm from Cleveland. Can we please get a picture? And he actually, you could tell like with a lot of people, he was just kind of like bending down. Like he wasn't really saying anything. And with that, he kind of smiled and and he at least acknowledged it a little bit more. And then one of the other players actually took a picture of the two of us on their phone. So I guess it went over well that I was from Cleveland. I don't know, but
that's what you got to say. That's
nice. It was very brief, but it was a good interaction.
I love that. I was imagining that. I'm like, I'm sure so many people ended up asking him, but your ticket in is like, hey, I'm from Cleveland. I'm sure he recognizes your face. He's been to the Olympics before. Honestly, we float around. I would hope that he recognized Real, and he did.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It wasn't your first showdown. It wasn't his first showdown. He knew who you were.
I don't know. Maybe. Gosh, I certainly don't want to get ahead of myself. But we've never had any interaction. There's never been any even Twitter or anything like that. Okay. So I don't like to assume that anyone.
Well, you know what? I'm glad it got out there so that it circulated, and I'm sure he saw it and he was like, okay. So if he didn't put two and two together ahead of time, which I honestly would be surprised if he didn't know, just because it wasn't your first time either, and you had gotten gold the last one. So I would hope that we gave you enough love. We could give you more love though. So, but I think in the future that means that maybe you guys could get a repeat selfie. Are you setting your sights? I know it's a tough question right after one Olympics, and we've talked about this before, but you're probably just looking ahead for this season, right?
Yeah, so this season is a World Championships in Tokyo. Funny enough, that'll be cool to kind of bring that full circle. I'm trying to defend my world title. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we're just going to take it year by year. The fact that it's in LA is extremely enticing. If it wasn't in LA, I don't know that I would have that much motivation to go another 4 years, because I'm 33. Once you get into your 30s, injuries start to become more prevalent. This last season I had an Achilles tendinosis the whole year. It was super frustrating. And so it really will just come down to if my body can hang, and if I'm still jumping high and enjoying it, then but we're just going to take it year by year and see how it goes.
That's the thing we should have asked LeBron.
Is yes, but we'll see.
I understand, because it is so demanding, the sport, and you're flinging yourself into high heights. I mean, the injuries, even just from the physics standpoint, are there as well. You have to be so technically sound. I was going to say that's the thing we should have asked LeBron is, so what are all these recovery tips you got, old man? Because he's still out here crushing. Cryotherapy. I see some of the stuff.
He does a ton.
He does everything.
Yeah,
I think they said
he's an alien.
I think they said he invests I forget the dollar amount, but the number of money he spends on recovery alone was insane.
Worth every dollar too for him.
I think some of the NFL players spend 7 figures.
That's nuts.
Just depending on who they are and what they do, but some of the quarterbacks, but it's
crazy.
I don't do anything crazy above and beyond. I mean, I go in for chiro, good deep tissue massage. I'll get needling. I will get, different types of laser treatments just depending on what I got going on. But it adds up. But gosh, I don't know how you spend that much, because I'm pretty minimal, but I still do stuff every week. So
it has served you well.
So Katie, take us back to the Olympics real quick and that final for the medal. I'll tell you what, I was watching just like the world was, which is just amazing. It's got to be amazing to you that the fact that not only Northeast Ohio, all of the country, all of the world is focused on you. And it was just such an intriguing final. What was going through your head? And take us back to those moments.
Yeah, well, funny enough, I woke up that morning. Actually, I woke up the morning before and I felt really sick. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I've had such a tough year with the Achilles thing. I had terrible meets in the lead up. The meet before, I only cleared my opening bar and looked and felt terrible. But I had I had a few weeks from then until I actually competed in Paris, and I was having the best practices of my life ever. My best vault sessions. My coach was so excited. My numbers, my speed was great. The weight room was great. And then I woke up, day before feeling sick.
Oh.
And then day of, I woke up and I was trying to, chalk it up to no, you're fine. You you had the prelim yesterday, so you're just feeling a little off because of that, knowing deep down like that's not what this is. But day of, I felt awful. I woke up and I felt terrible, and I was texting my coach. I texted my husband. I didn't want to text my whole family because I didn't want to worry them, but I wanted at least someone to know if this goes bad, like at least like you have some insight. And he of course told everyone, which I'm like, great, snitch. But but yeah, well, honestly, I think it worked in my favor because there were so many women that they took to the final. It was absurd. Normally they take around 12 and they took 20 of us. And the reason for that was in the prelim, they want to get to 12. 11 of us cleared, I think it was 4 meters 55, that the height that wasn't necessarily qualifying, but once they whittle the field down to a certain number of girls, they just stopped the competition. And then 9 had cleared the previous height. And so instead of just taking 11, or instead of, doing some sort of a jump off or tie situation, whatever, they took everybody, which nothing against the girls that benefited. I think that's awesome for them. But in the Olympic final, that's insane. That's so many girls. It takes way too long. It's hard to get into a rhythm like that. But I think because of that, I was able to just really just sit and zone out in between the jumps and just not expend any extra energy. And I think that actually gave me time to just rebuild my tank in between each jump. And I felt great by the end. So it really was, but I felt just kind of out of it. My body still felt really good. I was moving well. I was jumping well. It definitely was the best jumping I had done all year, but it was just a really interesting, I don't usually sit and just like chill out quite that much in a competition, but yeah, it was once, and then once the standard broke, I kind of knew the competition was over. We had this big break right at a very crucial moment. We're up at 490, which is what won in Tokyo. And the standard where they put the bar that puts the bar up and down, it broke and it wasn't moving with the press of a button. They always do this, I swear, for every major championship. They bring in electronic standards that, it looks cool because you just push the button and it goes up, and they always break. Always break at very pivotal moments. And you think the Olympics or World Championships are going to be the best run meets, the most efficient, and those are the meets where things just always go wrong.
I remember it stalling because I'm like, why are they still stalled? What's happening here? Because I couldn't see the live feed. I was kind of just checking Twitter updates and such. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this far in, of course.
Yeah. So at that point, I was already guaranteed a medal. And so I actually, and I'm sure people were thinking this was me giving up, which wasn't the case. But I went over and I talked to my family because I'm like, you know what? I'm guaranteed a medal in a year that I was garbage for me. Like it was just really tough. And I'm so happy I'm walking away with hardware. I didn't get to enjoy this with them in Tokyo. So like I, was talking to them. We were waiting for over a half hour, which is just, when you're at that point in a competition, the highest bars, your biggest sticks, like it's tough. So none of us cleared a bar after that, and not for lack of trying. I mean, we came back, and unfortunately in my case, I think had I had one more attempt, I would have gone up a pole, and who knows, but I think all 3 of us could have cleared another bar. It could have been the most epic, highest jumping women's pole vault final we've ever seen. But yeah, it is what it is.
It was a lot of fun pulling for you, Katie. Obviously, it's always great having you on this show, and we'll do it again for sure. Katie Moon, huge shout out. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Katie.
Yeah, good luck in this World's year.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Big Play Cleveland Show. We're going to kick off our fill in the blank here, but first we've got to give a shout out to Affinity Health and get a little update from Chris.
Yeah, like I was talking about last week, I continue to feel great thanks to my friends at Affinity Whole Health. I'm down 10 pounds. I'm up 3 pounds of lean muscle, so I'm feeling really good. I'm even making it through these Browns games every single Sunday. And this week, looking ahead to a Thursday night matchup. Affinity Whole Health offers personalized treatment plans to help people feel better. They are experts in semaglutide for weight loss therapy and testosterone replacement therapy, like I'm on. Affinity has been around since 2012 and has helped nearly 10,000 patients. Their team can help you get more energy, increase muscle, lose weight, and keep it off with injectable semaglutide. It's quick and easy to get started. Affinity has local offices and a 2-day delivery on treatments that get shipped straight to your doorstep. So don't wait any longer. Click the link in our show clips to get a free consultation. And you can check them out at their website, affinitywholehealth.com.
Chris, I love the Big Play boxing hoodie.
Right?
You're watching Jake Paul and Mike Tyson Friday. I was like, maybe 2025 is the year that yours truly makes a debut in the ring.
When are you going to get out
I
there?
wanna see
Let's
this
see
happen.
this footwork. Let's see what you got.
We'll see.
I've been going to my boxing
I've got
classes
something
as
in
well.
mind.
I've been doing that now for about 4 months. I'm feeling pretty good thanks to Affinity, thanks to these boxing classes. So I could get in there too. Maybe you and I. Maybe I'm an undercard
I love
for
you, Chris. I love you, Chris. I couldn't do that. We leave it there.
All right.
Yeah, working on some things.
We got a hand-selected opponent. I cannot wait.
We're working on some things here over at the Big Play Network.
We don't want to see any black eyes just yet here on anybody on the team. Okay, guys, Cavs. I'm loving these new City Edition uniforms. I don't know what you're thinking about the court. I mean, it's amazing. I love the color scheme. I couldn't get in there soon enough to get this hat. So our first fill in the blank, the Cavs City Edition jerseys in court are.
They're sweet. I really do like them. I think the court looks pretty cool. You can see the colors here on Gab. I think that's pretty sharp. The only problem I had watching the game against Charlotte was I kept forgetting which team was ours, to be honest with you. Like, maybe that's an old man problem, and if it is, I'll take it. But when we play teams with near colors or light colors, I'm going to have some problems there, but I can get used to it.
The Cleveland Museum of Art is one of the coolest places in Cleveland, and I like to anybody that hasn't been there and checked it out, like, go. Just go. It's a great date spot. It's great to go by yourself, honestly, because it's like so peaceful in there. It is one of my favorite places in the city. So I'm glad that the Cavs continue to tie in with different, iconic landmarks around. Last year they did the Playhouse Square thing, which was awesome. They've done the rock and roll edition before. These are perfect. They absolutely nailed these. I'm with Chris. Probably don't wear it when the opponent is also teal because it is a little bit confusing, but other than that, no notes. These are awesome.
And it was pretty cool. They actually went out to the Cleveland Art
Museum
there, and the players were there, and there happened to be a wedding in town, and so they took some pictures. You saw Mobley out there, Garland out there, and they were taking pictures with the whole wedding party, and that's pretty cool. Could you imagine being in that wedding party and all of a sudden those guys just walk out of nowhere?
I know.
You had to have been like, what kind of a fever dream is this?
Those guys could have leaked it. They could have got some money out of that.
That is so funny. Is this the first time we've had Guardians with the City Connect, and now we have these City Edition jerseys with the Cavs where we've done this 1-2 punch, not to bring too much of the cliche boxing back here, but I don't remember a year where everyone was just so on board with both of these choices.
Well, it helps when you're winning for both of them too.
Yeah.
I think people kind of like them, and then when you see the team win in them, then they look a lot better. And in both cases, for the Guardians, for the Cavs, we've seen them win, and we've seen them win a lot in those jerseys.
I love it. Okay, guys, the point differential rule for the NBA Cup is?
I think it's kind of fun, to be honest with you. It has some shades of like Ohio State back, before they get into a Big Ten play when you're trying to run up the score. But you basically got, before this, you had both teams quitting, and now you just kind of see the defense quitting while the offense is still trying. So at least you got one side still trying in an NBA game at the end of it. And, the onus is on the other team. If they're not going to play hard, then we're going to run up the score, and at least it's something interesting at the end of some of these ball games.
Yeah, I love it. I had a basketball coach very early, on with, kind of passing the ball around, run out the clock. Like that's lame. Nobody likes that. If you don't like the point differential, stop it.
Yeah.
Defend it. And we saw at the end of the Cavs' first NBA Cup game, they couldn't. And it was fun to see them play all the way throughout till literally the end. You know, they're still trying really hard to score points. I think that's a lot of fun. That's what the fans want to see. I want to see more of that getting introduced to the NBA. And honestly, I think that's the game plan. They use the NBA Cup and things to test new plans. I wouldn't be surprised if in 5 years, 10 years, they're playing like that at the end of every single game, and the point differential matters for playoff seeding or something like that.
Cool. All right, well, going back to the jerseys for a second here, we can't forget about the Browns all-white throwback. So who has the best alternate uniforms in Cleveland?
I still like the Guardians. I like what they introduced this year with the City Connects. I thought those looked pretty slick. I ran out and got myself a hat and a shirt right after those were announced, and I think a lot of people in the city did. And once again, it helps the team being good. You saw a lot of those jerseys being sold, and you saw a lot of them around the stadium.
I'll take the bait and I'll go with the Browns. I like those. I like the 70s look. I like that they haven't worn it this year. But I do think that throwback is so clean, and it's a reason why they brought that back. There's no reason to ever mess with that. The Guardians and the Cavs will change theirs always because the City Connects are new and stuff. But I like that the Browns give a nod to their actual history with theirs. So I'll take the bait and give it to the Browns.
All right, we're going to continue our fill in the blank after this short break. Thanks for watching the Big Play Cleveland Show. Welcome back to the Big Play Cleveland Show. We're just finishing our fill in the blank game. We were talking everything jerseys out here with the Cavs New City Edition, those baby blues I was so excited about. And obviously we love what the Guardians gave us this year in the City Connects and that nice dark blue and all the things that they came out with. In fact, I sort of feel like the liney thing they did with the land was similar to what the Cavs ended up unveiling with their stuff, like what I've got on right here. So I kind of like that there are some similarities there. Of course, you like in the old school Browns throwback unis. The Guardians actually came out and let us know about the 4 new uniforms that we're going to have next season. So those new uniforms are...
Yawn. I looked at them. They didn't really excite me very much. I like seeing the grays kind of show up, but outside of that, there was nothing in there that I said, I have to go out and buy that immediately.
They're more of the same for the most part. I like what they did with the Navy, where it's like the big C with the Guardians ball kind of flying G logo on the sleeve. I like that Navy pullover because it reminds me, it's like Major League-esque. It's kind of like Jensen Lewis put out there that he wore those jerseys a couple times during his first couple years in the majors. So I like I don't know, maybe I'm just a big throwback guy the more that I'm talking here because I picked the Browns throwback. Those Navy ones gave me kind of throwback vibes. So I like the Navy ones, but the rest of them were kind of the same outside of like some small differences.
I was just trying to look again, and I also didn't quite see a huge difference, but I wanted to see the one you were talking about, Nick, with the giant C and the... This is controversial. I kind of like the flying G. It really grew on me. Too. I've got a new Guardians long coat. It's winter
this
coat.
This one.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
I like that. That's new.
It's
something
neat.
Different.
It kind of has like a batting practice type
maybe a
look to it just because it's a little, the way that it looks to me. But okay, cool. All right, gang, back to our fill in the blank. I hate to make this such an abrupt pivot into the Browns, but we got to go there. The Browns' single biggest issue right now is
ownership. I mean, it's funny because you have the Guardians where we ask ownership to spend money. Here at the Browns, they did spend money. They spent the most ever, and they are getting historic results for that, historically bad results. You filled up a front office with a bunch of Princeton guys and Ivy League guys who are supposed to be out-of-the-box thinkers. They certainly have come out with a team that is out of the box because we are doing things at a historic level right now. I have seen ineptness on the field from both offense, defense, as well as special teams, including our kicker. We're seeing problems all over the field, and that starts and ends with ownership. They made the decisions. They have staffed this organization. This organization continues to let down the fans.
It's sad. That's really all I can say is how sad that it is because 7 years ago, I'll keep restating that 7-8 years ago, they pulled off one of the most calculated, meticulous tank jobs ever, where they wanted to get younger. They wanted to sell off all their valuable assets to get draft picks, and they were going to hoard draft picks. They were going to hoard cap space, and they were going to strip this thing down to the studs and build it up the right way. And they tried. They drafted a quarterback number 1 overall. Then they pulled off a controversial yet massive blockbuster trade for what was a Pro Bowl top 10 caliber quarterback in the league in Deshaun Watson, and none of it has worked. It feels like everything that they try continues to fail. And when that happens, you could blame anybody. You could blame quarterbacks. You could blame coaches. You could blame general managers. But when the issues continue to persist, it all goes back to ownership. And as we sit here today, with 2 wins and people are looking towards the draft, there's more questions than there are answers for the Cleveland Browns. It's never a good thing coming out of a bye week.
And that doesn't take anything off of anybody else in this organization either, because you see the problems all the way from the top to the bottom, because you have an organization, the Browns right now, with a bunch of players who have completely quit. That's what we saw on Sunday. That's what I expect to see again on Thursday. I think that's what the Browns are right now. It's bunch of quitters.
And I can't blame them for that either. I would also quit. This season was lost when the bus pulled up to the Greenbrier and they said Deshaun Watson gives this football team the best chance to win.
They were building a team then. That was all about team building.
They knew and they lied. Deshaun Watson never gave the Browns the best chance to win, and those players knew it. They're not dummies. These are guys that have played football from the time they were 7 years old, 8 years old. You play a high-level high school football, Ryan, like we saw Denzel Ward play at Nordonia. Then you go on to play at a major college program. You know when a guy in your room stinks. And Deshaun Watson stunk. And that's when the season was over, when they continued to put that garbage on the field. It was never going to go anywhere. And for the guys that are mailing it in right now, good. You had nothing to play for from the moment the season started.
Denzel Ward looked good yesterday.
Denzel Ward looked
I was
awesome.
going to say, there are a few defensive players I feel bad for. JOK, Myles Garrett, and some of these guys, Denzel Ward. I think that, is there anyone on offense who you feel is...
Well, Myles Garrett didn't really show up in the box score at
Myles
all
Garrett
yesterday.
didn't do anything.
He didn't have anything. So,
Bajorquez, I feel bad
But
for the punter. If we were if we were stripping this thing down to the studs and we're talking about untouchables for trades this offseason, don't trade away my punter. That's all that I have.
Overworked punter. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, give him an extension, Barry.
And yeah,
Put that money 5 years down the road so we can't cut him.
Myles Garrett, maybe not in the stat line over the weekend, but still a valuable asset to Cleveland, don't you think?
Asset. Sure. It's just when you're not showing up for ball games like that, it's like, what do you say? I mean, I don't know. I don't know that there's anybody on this team.
I don't feel bad for anybody.
Yeah, right now that you say I'm going to go.
I feel bad for
to the mat.
myself. I feel bad for myself that I have to watch this every.
Maybe
Sunday.
Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb could still be rehabbing right now rather than being out there and playing for a team that's going nowhere.
Yeah, you wonder sometimes. All right, we've got to take a short break. We're going to be back with more Big Play Cleveland show after this.
Would You Rather is brought to you by Fairway Ford. Fairway Ford is the largest Ford truck dealership in Ohio. They have the largest selection of Ford F-150s and Super Duty trucks, and they won't be beat on price by any other Ford dealers. So don't let a short drive to Canfield prevent you from saving thousands on your new truck. Fairway Ford, the largest inventory of new Ford trucks, the lowest pricing, and the same hometown level of service. Visit fairwayfordohio.com. That's fairwayfordohio.com.
Yeah, man, they said they had over 600 trucks on their lot ready to go. They're not waiting for inventory like some of these other places. They are trying to get rid of them. So head on down to Canfield and Fairway
Worth
Ford.
the drive for that kind of an inventory.
Yeah.
Okay, we're picking up on our Browns talk here, and I feel like I got to go straight to this. Would you rather the Browns completely blow it all up or stay the course, take minor moves, draft, get guys healthy?
You got to blow it up at this point. I mean, if you don't have a quarterback, which we don't have, you've got to blow up what you've got, at least in some form. I mean, are we talking about clearing out the entire organization? No, you're going to keep some pieces here, but I think Andrew Berry's got to go, certainly. He's the one who's put this thing together, and probably Paul DePodesta. I'm not sure what he does anyway, but you might as well jettison him from the organization. Find somebody who can come in, who can, and then you got to have a decision on Kevin Stefanski, 2-time coach of the year. I think that he still has the potential to be a decent coach for us, but if you're blowing up everything else, I think everything's on the table for this organization, for the Cleveland Browns. Browns right now. They have played their way into this situation, and everybody has a part in that.
And Chris, I do believe Kevin Stefanski is a good coach, but the bottom line on this entire thing is when you have the most expensive roster in the NFL and you have 2 wins, someone has to be held accountable.
Absolutely.
Life is unfair. Life is unfair. And if they continue to look like this, he's gone. I'm sorry.
I agree.
Okay. Would you rather beat the Steelers or get the number 1 pick in the draft?
Number one pick. Number one pick is the most valuable thing. Beating the Steelers feels good for maybe Thursday night into Friday. But then Saturday when those college games come on, Sunday for sure when you're watching the other teams and they look so competent, no, you need the number 1 pick if you could get it.
Yeah, take the L, charge it to winning. That's it.
Would you rather rewatch the Browns game yesterday or have to wear Mike Tyson's pre-fight outfit to the grocery store?
Hey, listen, Mike Tyson's look is legendary and iconic. There was nothing about the Cleveland Browns on Sunday that was legendary and or iconic. So give me the Iron Mike look. I will gladly wear that out as a tribute to him, and certainly never want to watch that Cleveland Browns game ever again.
That'd be a little breezy here in Cleveland, Ohio. Good for you.
Burn the tape on the Browns game.
Well said. I have no notes on that.
Okay, I have one more for you here. Would you rather, and I'm sorry, this is so Browns heavy. It's like, how do you keep making this happy? But would you rather the Browns go for it on 4th every time or let Dustin Hopkins attempt another field goal?
Yeah, Dustin Hopkins is broke. How about that? Titanic had a leak, and his name is Dustin Hopkins. Shout out Jeremy and Akron on that. No, just go for 2 every time. You need a kicker. Add that to your list of offensive tackle, offensive guard, center, running back, wide receiver, quarterback. You could add a kicker onto that list too.
Yeah, I'm with you. Why not? Do it on 4th downs too. I mean, why kick field goals anymore? Just go for it on 4th every time. Charge any losses to tanking. Let's go.
27 yards out, Chris. You think you could go toe that one in?
No, I don't. I honestly don't. But a lot of people could who are much better kickers than I am. But, you know, you got to have a reliable kicker. You look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? You talk about the Steelers being there every single year. Why are they there? Because they do the little things. These last 2 weeks, they won nail biters because they're doing the little things at the end. Now, we're not doing the big things, and we're also not doing the little things. And the little things involve making extra points, making easy field goals, and just being consistent from the special teams, which we haven't seen at all. And Nick, what has Bubba Ventrone done at all for us since he's gotten to town?
I know we got to wrap the show, so thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Big Play Cleveland Show. I'll leave you guys with this stat. There have been 100 kicks in the NFL this year from 27 yards and in. 99 of them were made. We'll see you next week.
Oh.